Welcome to Backpage Blues Part 2. I'm still joined by Charlie the Hurricane Skillen, and it's time for my favourite part of the week. It's where we answer your questions. Shall we make a start?
Let's go for it, mate.
Right, I'll go first, if that's okay. Our first question is from Bills96. Bill says, what are the chances of us signing Marquinhos in January? He's currently on the bench at Paris Saint-Germain, and he thinks that he could do a job for us at Chelsea.
I certainly agree he could do a job with us. It's not one we've reported in the mail thus far. Getting players out of PSG is very, very hard. They're looking to really, really establish themselves on the European stage. And even though he's on the bench, he is still probably one of the best young defenders in the world.
Right.
I'd love to see it, but I just don't think it's going to happen for Chelsea, and certainly not in January.
If we're being picky here, I would prefer to go in for Raphael Varane. I love the idea. Of Zuma and Varane linking up like a national team partnership.
I agree with that. That'd be great. I'd even sooner rather go for John Stones.
There we go.
Next question from Steve, your pal of mine.
I know Steve very well. He's a lovely bloke. Not so sure about his son.
Yeah, I know. I don't really know what happened with that one.
No, I know. That's a bit of a lost cause. But yeah, lovely fella, Steve. Thank you for your question, mate.
Do you feel that top four is still a realistic objective this season? And who will we beat in the Champions League final?
Sadly, Steve, I don't think that the top four is a realistic ambition anymore. I'm sorry, I don't think we can do it. Somebody pointed out to me, somebody with far more mathematic knowledge than I possess.
That'll be hard.
Yeah, exactly. Anybody? Yeah, it was a dog. No, but suggested that for us to make the top four now, we would need to average 2.5 points to get to the average points that you need.
Yeah.
We would need 2.5 points per game.
Yep.
That is better than winning. That is better than league winning form.
Yeah.
So I don't see why we're going to find that kind of form. The only possibility is that I think that the other teams going for it are so bad at the moment.
Yep.
Anything is possible. I think we will win the Champions League, and I think we will beat Real Madrid and Rafa in the San Siro.
Okay. I do think it's realistic. I mean, it would be very, very ambitious at this point. It would be a surprise, but I do think that if you're going to back one club and one manager to do it from this position, it is Mourinho and Chelsea.
But you have to concede, Manchester City and Arsenal are going to be in the Champions League.
Definitely.
So two positions are now, two are gone.
And I'd say almost certainly Manchester United as well.
Manchester United, I would agree, although they are not.
And then
so that's three.
Then you're battling Tottenham and Liverpool, aren't you?
You're battling Tottenham and Liverpool with they only need to match our results now, though, to maintain it.
less than that, obviously.
Less than that, exactly.
Because they're above us. But I do think that if the situation does improve and Mourinho gets some players back on side, maybe something happens in January, I do think Chelsea are capable of going on a 10-match winning run.
Right.
I mean, I know we're right in the depths of it, but there's only 11 games been played. You can rocket out that table with a few wins under your belt.
Question from Matt Partridge. Who is your favourite manager of all time?
Oh, very hard. I mean, Chelsea have had some great ones. Mourinho will be up there.
Mourinho's definitely up there.
Up there, but I'm going to say, and obviously Di Matteo won the Champions League, I'm going to say, not the first manager I watched Chelsea, because that was Glenn Hoddle. I'm going to say the one after him, Ruud Gullit. Invented sexy football at the Bridge, had some of my favourite players playing under him. Yeah. And, just that whole season, that 96-97 season, it was kind of I was just so obsessed with football, and I mean, still am, obviously. And I remember him getting sacked in the February of the following season, and I was far too old to have a toddler's tantrum because I think I was 8 or 9.
Yeah.
But I really did bawl my eyes out.
I have a very similar answer there, Charlie, because mine is equally romantic. But my favourite manager, this is definitely not born out of his managerial ability. He's a fantastic manager, but this is born out of the kind of romantic notion that goes along with him. And that's Gianluca Vialli.
Absolutely.
I love him as a man,
yeah.
And therefore I love him as a manager.
Yeah.
But a game that will live long with me, I'm sure that when I'm sort of old and with dementia, I'll still remember this. And that was Vialli, I think it was his first game against Arsenal.
3-1.
3-1. We beat Arsenal 3-1 in the League Cup semi-final, second leg.
Blinding.
Gianluca Vialli's first game, and it was magnificent.
It really was.
I will look back on that team so fondly for the rest of my life.
And he before that game, he got a bottle of champagne out, and the whole team drank champagne before the game.
My kind of guy.
Exactly. Next question is from Ross. Realistically, what can we achieve this season from Chelsea's current position?
I'm sure some fool will
Don't
make
say
a vine
it.
out
Don't
of this.
say it.
I'm going to say it because
Don't
I
say
believe it. I think we can win the Champions League.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
make your
and
vines.
Me, and me.
Yeah. I genuinely think we can win the Champions League. I think that this group of players definitely has enough skill. That isn't. If Cesc Fabregas plays to his maximum, if Eden Hazard plays to his maximum, if Diego Costa plays to his maximum, they are worthy of winning the Champions League. That is not up for debate.
No,
You're
fine,
disagreeing
fine,
with me.
no,
You're disagreeing
of course,
with me. You're
I'm
disagreeing with
disagreeing.
me with nuance. You're looking at me funny. That's
Just my face.
Do you honestly think that is a pipe dream?
Yeah, absolutely. Although it was a complete pipe dream the season Chelsea won it as well. But, I really don't think this squad is in any sort of position to be winning the Champions League.
Why? If everything happens that I just said, if people start playing to their maximum, why?
Well, frankly, I don't think the conditions at the club currently are set up for that. I think it's a club, a dressing room that's almost in turmoil. I think the key players are not playing well enough. I think the players at the minute that are really performing are people like Ramirez and Willian, who are obviously great players, but
careful what you say about Ramirez.
I'm a big fan. I was pleased to see him get a new contract. I really don't think at the minute it's set up for Chelsea to win the Champions League at all.
I would agree. At the moment, it isn't, but I think
I admire your enthusiasm.
It's born out of fact. It's not born out of optimism. I honestly think that if things start going as they can, I don't see why not.
Well,
look, we're looking like we're going to finish top of our group.
Yeah.
A kind draw.
Let's do
You're
that
then not
first.
in it till February.
Anything can happen. No, I'd love to think you're right. I think top 4 is probably the top we can aim at.
There we go. I'll ask this one. It's from James Brown. James has said, do you think that the hardcore Chelsea fans have saved Mourinho's job? In fact, I'm going to answer this one as well. Yes, I honestly do. I think that the club's hierarchy have had no option but to listen to the unequivocal, unilateral, partisan support provided by Chelsea fans, particularly those 5,000 odd who went to Stoke away, of which we were there. I think that they couldn't not hear that.
No.
An entire end chanting Mourinho's name.
And the Kiev game on Wednesday night as well, of course, at the Bridge.
I just don't think that it could be ignored. I don't think that Abramovich makes his transfer policy or any policy based on fans' thoughts, and nor should he.
No.
Nor should he. Of course, sometimes things need to be done for the greater good. If you ask the fans to about the stadium, they would have said we won't move. And obviously, the progress has to happen. But I think that it has to be a factor, don't you?
Yeah. I mean, it is a factor. That's a fact. I don't think it's saved Mourinho's job. I'm not sure whether he'd be sacked or not, but it's certainly doing him absolutely no harm. And certainly, if the fans were to turn on him, which I really don't think is going to be the case, or the fans were turning on him now, he'd be in a lot weaker position.
Cool. Guys, we've got a few more questions to get through, but my friend Sam is giving me the sign to wrap it up. So I'm going to have to do that, I'm afraid. Thank you so much for all of your questions. Really appreciate it. And comment below. Let us know what you think. And get your questions in. We could be answering yours next week. Remember, we are the champions. They are not. Welcome to today's Daily Chelsea, your one-stop shop for all things Chelsea related.
So, big win at the Bridge yesterday. Rory, you were there. How was it, mate?